Alright, I'm AlexVo, and we're finally back, and we're gonna be watching this video by they will kill you. So let's move down a little bit here. Let's do that. Move it down a little bit. And it's the 10 most wanted by FBI. So let's unclick that. So we're gonna be watching this, and we got a new setup here, and hopefully it'll be better. Maybe eventually I'll probably have some awesome poster and stuff like that in the background, trying to make it look better. But let's get started with the video here. And I know for sure some of these people in this list right now still haven't probably been caught yet, or maybe in the future, maybe they will be, or some of them, you never know, they could be dead. They might not be living anymore at this point, because you never know how some of these people are way older now. Some of these cases could have been 10, 20 years ago. So let's continue. And not continue, but let's get started here.
Robert William Fisher has been on the FBI's most wanted list since June of 2002 on suspicion of murdering his family and blowing up the house in which they lived in Scottsdale, Arizona. A Navy veteran, Fisher was described as controlling and cruel towards his family. On several occasions, his hunting partners reported disturbing behavior. This included Fisher smearing elk blood on his face after a hunt, as well as him sneaking up behind a family that was picnicking and emptying his gun into the air. Fisher's wife had reportedly made up her mind to divorce him. In the evening of April the 9th of 2000.
Whoops, I didn't mean to. I forgot to put it down so you can see the video here. So it happened April 9, 2001. So that's technically 20 years ago. And this guy haven't been caught yet. I know this guy actually ended up killing his family here. So he killed his wife and his two daughters. Not two daughters, but two kids. One of them is a daughter, and then the other one is a son, which is a 10-year-old. And the daughter is 12 years. So that's kind of sad. You killed your entire family for what again? Probably insurance. But then again, I don't think you actually end up getting it, because you're technically missing at this goddamn point. And the sad part, he could be your neighbor too, or my neighbor, or he could be living next to anyone, or even close to you. You got anyone as well, close to anyone, really. Like, you never know. Some of these people will be anywhere at this point. But man, I'm kind of surprised they haven't found him yet. But let's continue.
2001. Neighbors reported hearing a loud argument in their home. Later, an ATM recorded Fisher making a withdrawal with his wife's car in the background. In the morning, the house exploded. Firefighters managed to control the 20-foot blaze before it spread. Inside the home, they found 3 badly burnt bodies. The children, aged 12 and 10, had had their throats slashed from ear to ear, while Fisher's wife had been shot in the back of the head. The gas line from the house's furnace had been disconnected, and a candle was used to ignite the gas as it accumulated, giving Fisher a 10-hour head start. While his whereabouts remain unknown, it's possible that Fisher was living off the land, since he was an avid outdoorsman, skilled in hunting and fishing. He's considered armed and extremely dangerous, with the FBI offering a reward of up to $100,000 for information leading to...
Damn, $100K for him. Yeah, that's a lot. I wonder if they maybe added... There could have been more than $100K now. They'll probably raised it up even more since they haven't found him yet. I'm kind of surprised no one's seen him ever, because I guess he'll disguise himself look way different. But then again, at least someone will at least notice the way he looks. But then again, 100K, goddamn. Let's go to the next one.
His arrest. Number 9, Alexis Flores. In the summer of 2000, a Philadelphia resident offered work, shelter, and clothing.
Damn, this one happens in 2000, so that's 21 years ago. Yeah, this guy. Let's go.
Into a homeless drifter named Carlos. In August, the body of a missing toddler was found in an abandoned apartment building where Carlos was believed to be staying. 5-year-old Iriana de Jesus had been raped, strangled, and her lifeless body had been wrapped in a trash bag. A t-shirt, which Carlos's benefactor had given to him, was found near the victim, covered in her blood. The man was never found. A few years later, illegal immigrant Alexis Flores was arrested in Arizona after he'd presented fake identity documents to the authorities. A forgery device was found in his possession, which is a felony in the state. Flores' DNA was collected and introduced in a database. He spent 60 days in prison and upon his release in 2005, was deported.
Yeah, they had him for 60 years in prison, but then again, they didn't notice until after the fact when they found his DNA, and then it finally matches to the girl he killed, which, man, that's sad, a 5-year-old. And then I'm not gonna be saying the other words because I don't want to get my channel, but yeah, he killed a 5-year-old and stuff like that. They had him in prison, but then they didn't notice he was the killer. Then extradited him, I believe, back to Mexico, but I think he probably still is. He probably still go back and forth with the U.S. and probably to Mexico as well. But let's continue here.
Honduras. DNA evidence then connected Torres to the De Jesus crime scene, proving that he and Carlos were the same person. There have been no significant updates on his location ever since he was added to the FBI's most wanted list in 2007. Number 8. Jason Derek Brown. To support his luxurious lifestyle and image.
I remember this story because I remember watching a documentary on it, because I remember his brother was in it, talking about his brother who's the one who actually ended up getting shot and killed by Jason Derek Brown, because he was technically taking the cash and putting it to the armored truck. So he's like the carrier and stuff like that. There you go, cash carrier. He put it in the truck, and he actually ended up shooting him couple, like 9 or something times. He shot him a lot of times. I'm not sure why he actually needed to shoot and kill him. He could have just took the cash and left, but instead he had to shoot him. But let's get back to the story here, and we can play the play button.
Of wealth. Jason Derek Brown had allegedly operated check and bank fraud scams, as well as various other confidence schemes. He also owned 2 legitimate businesses out of his home in Salt Lake City, Utah, but had racked up considerable debt. In November of 2004, outside an AMC theater in Phoenix, a hooded gunman ambushed an armored car guard. 24-year-old Robert Palomares was shot 5 times in the head with a .45 caliber Glock semi-automatic handgun. He was later pronounced dead. The shooter fled the scene on a bicycle with a money bag containing $54,000. Fingerprints lifted from the scene linked Brown to the ambush murder, and the authorities considered his desperate financial situation as the motive. Additionally, prior to the shooting, Brown had purchased a .45 Glock and had taken firearm lessons. Even though the FBI has received hundreds of leads since his disappearance, Brown's whereabouts remain unknown. It's believed that he's hiding in plain sight.
I'm kind of surprised that he's still out there. I'm not sure how he hasn't been found yet. I think he probably blew all that money away already. So he probably is still scamming and stuff like that. Still, probably that's the only way he's making money at this point, because he didn't really rob that much, even though he robbed and killed a guy. But he did not really steal that much money. So I don't know how he's still living at this point. But let's continue here.
Salt Lake City's Mormon community, or that he's fled the country to France or Thailand. Number 7. Yasser Abdel Said.
This one is also another famous case. I remember this one the most too. I remember this one. It was a really, really sad one. He did end up killing both of his daughters in a taxi car, and then one of the daughters actually ended up calling the police, and the operator was talking to her, and she was actually dying. So that was a really, really sad one. But I'm happy he actually getting captured, and he was getting helped by technically his family members, which is kind of sad part. And some of them are going into a prison cell too with him. So this one is just a really, really sad one. So, and I personally don't feel bad for the mother, because she technically kind of got both of them there, which they tried to escape from him and then try to bring them back to him, which is sad. But let's play the play button here.
Abdel Said was on the run from the FBI for 12 years after the brutal honor killing of his daughters. Said had repeatedly beaten and sexually abused Amina and Sarah. They were terrified of him, as he was extremely controlling of their lives and would constantly threaten to kill them. He reportedly felt they dishonored the family by refusing to adhere to Islam and traditional Egyptian behavior. When she was only 16, Amina was taken to Egypt by Said for an arranged marriage to a much older friend of his. Amina refused the proposal and instead started dating an American teenager named Joseph Moreno. The two had made plans to run away together.
And I remember the father tried to get one of his daughter to marry one of his friends. That's just really, really weird. And then I don't get it, but let's play here.
Get married in Las Vegas and start a new life. Moreno had dropped out of high school to make money and help Amina escape her father. Saeed became aware of the relationship, and even though he brutally beat Amina, she never gave up Moreno's name. After Christmas in 2006, the sisters and their mother ran away to live with some of Moreno's relatives in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Saeed subsequently convinced his wife that he'd forgiven Amina and Sarah, claiming that he wanted them to return home. On January the 1st of 2008, he took the girls in the back seat of his taxi, kissed them, and said they were going to get something to eat. Saeed then pulled out a gun and fatally shot them both. Sarah had managed to call 911 before she died, screaming, "Help! My dad shot me. I'm dying. I'm dying." The man then fled and remained missing for over a decade. Saeed...
We always remember because of that call there. Man, it's just sad. And he technically kind of still hid, technically hindsight too as well. Like, he was captured in Texas, so...
is the only fugitive on the FBI's most wanted list to have recently been captured. On August the 26th of 2020, SWAT teams arrested him.
Yeah, 2020, so it was technically last year. Technically it's almost August, so it's almost technically 1 year that he's been actually captured, so...
without incident in Justin, Texas.
Let's get back to breaking out your go-to moves and trying out some new ones.
Number 6. Bhadresh Kumar Chetanbhai Patel. In April of 2015, Bhadresh Kumar Chetanbhai Patel and his wife Palak had traveled from India and were visiting relatives in the US. The couple, both in their 20s, were working the night shift at a Dunkin' Donuts in Maryland, which was owned.
Dunkin' Donuts. I haven't been there in a long time, or haven't ate their donuts in a long time, but let's continue. That's the only good part, like the happy part about the story, but overall, it's a pretty sad story. I think I remember listening to this story too before someone created it, but this one's a pretty sad one too. Like, technically all of them are sad, end of the day, so none of these are happy ending stories really.
Owned by one of Patel's relatives. They had a violent argument in the kitchen, as Patel wanted them to stay in the US and Palak planned on returning to India. The man is believed to have brutally beaten his wife and stabbed her to death with a large kitchen knife. Surveillance footage would later show Patel fleeing the scene. Palak's body was found when customers who'd been waiting to be served alerted a passing police officer. The last time Patel was ever seen was on the morning of April the 13th of 2015 at Newark Penn Station in New Jersey. The authorities believe that he may have returned to India, or even more likely that he's still hiding with relatives.
Yeah, it's crazy. I forgot which one, but one of them actually wanted to go back to India, and one of them actually wanted to stay. I think he was the one who actually wanted to stay in the U.S., and his wife or girlfriend wanted to go back to India, and I guess that's why he actually ended up killing her. But then again, arguing and stuff like that, just, man, even in a Dunkin' Donuts too as well, at your workplace, damn, that's gotta be... and if you're the person who found someone, oh man, that's gonna be even worse. You found your coworker being dead in there, and the other one is just running away and never... I'm not sure how he's been caught yet, but...
in the US. Number 5. Alejandro Castillo. Alejandro Castillo was placed on the FBI's most wanted list in October of 2017, a year prior when he was 17 years old. Castillo was working at a North Carolina restaurant alongside 22-year-old Truquan Sandy Lai Lee. They'd briefly dated, and Lee had sent Castillo some money. In August of 2016, Castillo told Lee to meet him at a convenience store so that he could pay back what he owed her. He was driven to the meeting spot by his new girlfriend, Amia Feaster, aged 19. Once they arrived, it's believed that Castillo pulled out a gun and forced Lee to withdraw all the money from her account. Lee was then driven to a wooded area in Cabarrus County, where Castillo fatally shot her in the head. The teenager and Feaster afterwards crossed the border into Mexico. Feaster subsequently turned herself in to Mexican authorities. While on the run for the previous months, they'd been staying with Castillo's cousins in Aguas Calientes. However, at some point, Castillo disappeared and was never seen again. Number 4.
Why To me, he personally just took the money and let her go, but instead, he had to kill her for what, though? What is the reason for killing her? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, just get them. God damn, 20 million. I guess this guy is in the cartel and probably done a lot of horrible things. Probably murdering or hire for murder. Probably also drugs and stuff like that too as well. Kidnapping. Let's continue though.
Of drug kingpin Rafael Caro Quintero. It's the highest value of all the fugitives on its list. Nicknamed the Narco of Narcos, Caro Quintero is the founder and suspected leader of the Caborca cartel. He also co-founded the notorious...
Yeah, that had to be a person from cartel because goddamn, 20 million, that's a lot of money. Didn't he? Oh, we'll continue watching.
Guadalajara cartel, an organization which in the 1970s shipped enormous amounts of marijuana and cocaine into the US. Caro Quintero was responsible for the 1985 kidnapping, torture, and murder.
Oh, that. I think I remember Kiki's story too as well. I remember hearing about that story. It was a pretty sad one. He ended up getting murdered by the cartel. So that's crazy. Let's continue though.
Of DEA undercover agent Enrique Kiki Camarena. He's also wanted in direct connection with at least 3 other murders. For his crimes...
Yeah, I kind of get why that's 20 million because technically that guy he killed, Kiki, was FBI informant, I believe, or something like that, or working for CIA, one of those. But continue.
Caro Quintero was arrested in Costa Rica and extradited to Mexico, where he was sentenced to 40 years in prison. However, the drug lord was released in 2013 when a...
Really? He got released? Come on. Really? The stuff he's been doing, probably be life sentence, especially in the US, but this is probably in Mexico where he's got released from, and now is probably doing some more crazy stuff.
State court concluded he'd been tried improperly. Corruption was suspected, and due to pressures from the US federal...
Yeah, that's the sad part. Like for Mexico, it's really, really huge, corrupted too, because they let go a lot of people, or because else, you know, some of these police officers, the actually legit ones or the good ones, they end up getting the murder the most. Kind of sad. A lot of police officers in Mexico, they get killed a lot, so, and get assassinated too. So, man, it's kind of scary to be a police officer over there. At least over here, at least it's more protected and stuff like that. At least people are not gonna go chase after killing you or anything like that. But let's continue.
Government, a Mexican federal court issued another arrest warrant. However, as of November 2020, Caro Quintero remains at large. Number 3, Arnoldo Jimenez.
Alright, I'm gonna pause it. Pause it. Oh, no, not pause it. Let's continue.
To the brave pioneers who heard the cry, "Go west."
On May the 11th,
I was thinking of actually stopping the recording and then go back because of the ad, but now we continue here.
of 2012, Arnoldo Jimenez and Estrella Carrera got married at Chicago City Hall. That night they went clubbing with friends. They left the nightclub at about 4 a.m. and got into a heated argument during the drive back. While they were in his 2006 Maserati, Jimenez is believed to have stabbed Carrera multiple times. The woman's body was then dragged into her apartment and abandoned in the bathtub, still wearing the dress she'd donned at the wedding. In September of 2012, Jimenez's brother was arrested at his home for drug trafficking. The police searched the house and discovered Jimenez's Maserati inside the man's garage. Blood was found.
Damn, that's sad. Like, they just barely got married and they're going, on a honeymoon, and they just arguing, and now he killed her for that. God damn, that's sad. And she was just wearing her wedding dress too, or gown still. God damn, that's crazy. But let's continue here. Like, what did she do to really anger her, anger him to shoot and kill her? Like, what are they arguing about? But let's continue here.
Jimenez was driven to Mexico, where he's still hiding out to this day. Today's topic was requested by Dave Mader Jr. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2. Eugene Palmer. John Palmer, his wife Tammy, and their 2 children lived at a property in Stony Point, New York. The land was owned by Palmer's father, Eugene, who lived next door to them. Tammy and John started having marital problems, and the woman filed for a restraining order against him. Tammy also threatened to sue for ownership of Eugene's land. In the morning of September the 24th of 2012, the woman walked her 2 children to the...
So this happened in 2012, so 9 years ago. At this point, the way he looked, he's like really, really old. I'm not sure how in good shape he is in, but living in the wild, you never know. But at this point, I got a feeling he should be maybe not living anymore, but I could be wrong. He could be my next door neighbor. He'd be the one killing me next because for saying that. Jesus Christ. Let's continue though.
School bus. As she returned home, Eugene ambushed her from a wooded path and fatally shot her in the chest with a shotgun. Palmer fled the scene in a pickup truck, which was later found abandoned. Palmer has never been found, but the FBI suspects he might be hiding with relatives in Florida or in upstate New York. Number 1. Jose Rodolfo Villarreal Hernandez. Jose Rodolfo Villarreal Hernandez was one of the leaders of the Beltran Leyva cartel based in Mexico.
Okay, another cartel person here. I think if there was an FBI list, there'd be a lot of these guys in here. I know some of them are captured now, but some of them are probably end up getting murdered by violent gang members and stuff like that too as well. But man, it's just scary.
Villarreal Hernandez's father had been killed by the Gulf Cartel, a rival criminal organization. Juan Jesus Guerrero Chapa was a lawyer for the rival cartel, whom Villarreal Hernandez viewed as personally responsible for his father's death. In May of 2013, Guerrero was already living in the US as an FBI informant. Villarreal Hernandez hired 2 gunmen, identified only as Clorox and Captain, to assassinate Guerrero. The informant was tracked down to Southlake, Texas. The assassins pulled up to his car while Guerrero was out shopping with his wife. The woman was unharmed, but Guerrero was shot and killed. The gunmen were never found. Villarreal Hernandez remains at large, presumably still hiding in Mexico. A $1 million reward is being offered for information leading to his capture. Thanks for watching. Would you rather...
Alright, so that is the end of the video here. So, there is a question there. Would you rather have 50,000 or a real get out of jail free card to be used on your... To me, technically the jail free card sounds like to be the best one, because if you do something stupid or if you murder someone, you get the free jail card. But then again, it's crazy. I love the money too, but at the end of the day, I think I'll take the jail free card really. But maybe one day all these guys will be captured, but I don't think they will be. Or either that, they can be eventually be dead at some point because they're getting older, and eventually the police and the FBI and stuff like that, they eventually will find you. With the technology they have nowadays, is probably way better now. Even though if you made a crime like 40 or 50 years ago, they'll still find you. Even 30 years ago, they'll find your DNA and stuff like that. They'll go through everything. With their technology, they'll actually could pinpoint to you if you're the murderer or not. So to me, that's gonna be it, and hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.